Hello everyone, and welcome to my short workshop on 4 ways to help fight computer fatigue. If you are anything like me, you spend part of your day maybe like this, behind a keyboard. So in the workshop today, we will work to counteract that posture and hopefully leave you feeling a little bit more free. Yeah? Great. To begin, I'll ask you to find a comfortable seat. You might hear yoga instructors say that a lot. For me, this is comfortable, but for you, it might not be comfortable. So instead, maybe you take a seat on a chair. Maybe you bring your feet out in front of you. Maybe you sit on your heels here. There's no right or wrong way to do it. All I care is that your spine is long, your chin is tucked, and the back of your neck is nice and open. So sit tall, and then your hands are either on the ground by your sides, or if you're in a chair, make fists and push them down and out so you feel your shoulders come down. Take a breath in. As you exhale, draw the chin even closer to the chest. Now we'll move through a shoulder roll. If you feel any pinching, move out of that range of motion and just take smaller movements. So inhale over to the left side, draw a line across your collarbone, chin to the shoulder, then drop the head back, open the throat to the sky. The head will then go over to the right side, chin to your right shoulder, chin across your right collarbone, and then chin to chest. Inhale, back up to center. Great, easy enough, right? Let's do it again. Take a breath in. Exhale, tuck the chin down to the chest. Inhale your chin over to the right side, chin to the right shoulder, open the throat towards the sky, rotate over to the left, then bring your chin to your left shoulder, across the left collarbone, chin forward, and back up. Great, so this simple movement you can do multiple times throughout the day, but instead of flinging your head around, right? I'd like you to do it slowly with intention. You can pause me here and do it a few more times. If you find areas that really feel juicy, you can stop there and just hit them with a little bit longer of a stretch. But this allows us to become more aware of how our neck, how our shoulders, how our body's feeling. Yeah? Great. Movement number 2, just like that. So come to hands and knees. You may need to pad your knees if your knees feel sensitive. We're in tabletop pose, so wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Now, before I move, I'd like you to look at my upper spine. I have 2 options here. I can either protract or retract my scapula. I know, sciencey, but stay with me. So protract is when I round my upper spine. Retract is when my scapula come together, my chest drops down. So I'd like you to just try this movement to start. Hands come to the ground. Take a breath in. Protract, round through the upper spine. Retract, shoulder blades together, chest comes down. Again, inhale, protract. Retract. Let's take 3 more. Maybe you close your eyes. Breath in, protract. Exhale, retract. Once more, protract. Retract. Protract and hold. So tuck your chin. Feel how much you can round that upper spine. Now retract, hold, roll the shoulders back. Maybe you imagine a little up dog in the chest, kind of our cow pose in yoga. Come back to center, even spine. So if you have to take a look, I have a fairly neutral spine here. Now we're going to add on to this movement. So first, protract. Feel your shoulders, upper back round. Now shrug your shoulders towards your ears. Yeah, weird, right? If you need to look at me, I'll do it again. So my shoulders are back, I'm protracted, shoulders towards the ears. Then drop your chest down, retract, and slide your shoulder blades down your back. We're making like a square, if you can try to envision this in your head. So protract with your shoulder blades depressed, then slide your shoulders forward. Exhale, retract, slide your shoulders back. Inhale, protract. Shoulders shrug to the ears. Keep that line in the upper spine. Exhale, retract, and slide the shoulders down your back. protract, shrug the shoulders towards the ears, retract, slide the shoulders down your back. Great. Come out of it, you can come to a seat. So if you need to look at my shoulder blades once more, you can also do this movement from here, right? You can make fists, shrug the shoulders to the ears, down the back. Now I'm doing the opposite direction, but eventually you can make this into a circle, right? Feeling this stretch between the scapula, because for me, this is where I tend to get a lot of pressure. So when I purposefully round, protracting, retracting, it starts to warm up that area, get rid of tension and everything that's associated with our computer work. Awesome. Let's move on to the third movement. This one, you really may need a pad under the back knee. You're going to come into a low lunge. So essentially, bring your right foot forward, your left foot back, and then sink your hips down. I'll give you a little time to set up. Your palms will be on the ground next to your feet, like for framing your front foot. So we've got a frame. If this is too low for you, you could have books, you could have blocks. What I care about is sinking this left hip flexor down towards the ground. So in yoga, we like to do a lot of passive stretching, right? So stretch, stretch, stretch through the hip flexor. But don't worry, we're not done. There's going to be more. So start with the stretch. If you need to, you can wiggle the knee backwards to get a little bit more space. And then as always, relax your jaw, relax your face. Anytime we have an opportunity to do that is fantastic. Now that you're in this stretch, I would like you to try to pull your left thigh forward, your right hip and heel backwards, like you're going to scissor them together and close them, but your body won't move. So if you look, there's a subtle shift when I do this. There, that's it. And that's all I want to see from you is a subtle shift as you begin to pull and sink at the same time. What this is doing is lengthening all of this tissue that when we sit is normally cramped up into a 90-degree or more angle. So continue to pull. The harder you pull, the more fun you have. That's what I've heard, right? 3, 2, 1. Relax through the hip. And then the hip will come down towards the ground. So if you want to do this more, which I do recommend, technically I recommend like 3 times on each side. I love the number 3. I don't know why. You can give it a shot. So pause me, do this side 2 more times. You'll have a passive stretch for about a minute. Then you can fire up and start to engage in that tissue. The rest of us, if you're not pausing me, we'll move to the other side. Left foot comes forward, right knee comes back. And so once you're there, find your hands to frame your foot and try to push that right hip forward and down and then relax. It might take a little bit. Maybe if you're a runner or do a lot of walking or any linear movement cycling this way, this could feel pretty intense. So breathe into it. Maybe put a smile on your face. And now that we've had a minute-ish lengthening, right? If you'd like a little more, take a little more time. Start to pull your left heel backwards, your left hip backwards, your right hip forwards. So again, if you want to watch the subtle shift in my body, it's not much. That's it, right? Find that shift and then continue to sink, but pull. The more you pull, the more you should start to feel this tissue start to engage. Now, option 2, pull as much as you want, especially if you're doing 3 rounds, round 1, round 2, round 3. On the final round, you can really crank it up, start to get a little sweaty. Yeah, it's great. You can sweat between hours at your job, right? When you take a break. 2. Pull, pull, pull. 1. And release. Wow. I feel a little tender. So you're going to take some time to get out. Don't move too quickly. Then, once you're finished, come to laying down on your back. And if we could, we would take a nap or a shavasana here forever, but alas, it's the middle of the day. So hands come by your sides, palms face down. Press your hands down into the ground nice and firm. This may look familiar to you if you do a lot of yoga. We've got bridge pose or Pilates. They do one too. So inhale, you'll lift your hips up. Now, this is actually not the huge intention of the pose, but before we continue, I'd like you to put your awareness into your feet. All four corners of your feet press down into the ground. Squeeze through your glutes and your hamstrings. Lift your hips high. Now, don't do it yet, but I'm going to ask you to lower down. But instead of just lowering your hips to the ground, I want you to lower starting up at your cervical spine. So the top of your spine will be the first thing to lower. Then you'll go vertebra by vertebra all the way down your spine to your mid back, to your low back, and eventually your sacrum will come to the ground. Release, take a breath in, and a breath out. Okay, now we just do it opposite direction, right? So first, and only first, lift the sacrum. The low back will be rounded down towards the mat, right? Then you can start to lift that low back up. Try to move one at a time. Mid back, upper back, and eventually lift the chest as high as you can. Squeeze into your bridge. We'll do one more round. Take a breath in. Exhale, lower down, cervical spine, thoracic, eventually lumbar, and release your pelvis down to the ground. Take a breath in, out. Now lift. First, the low back will lift. Really slow. Let's try to go as slow as possible. Mid, then upper back. Once you're there, find your full expression of bridge and hold. 3, 2, 1, and release everything down. Great work. Maybe sway the knees side to side. Take a moment to relax, and if you like, which I do recommend, you could once again pause me and take a few minutes, just three minutes in Shavasana. Stretch the feet long, hands up, and try to let go of some of that stress. If you're ready to move back into your workday, you can come up to a comfortable seat. Sit tall and maybe just move a little bit through the spine. Notice any changes, any differences. And then I invite you to do these movements as much as you like. Anytime throughout the day is a good time, even if you only have 3 to 5 minutes. Other than that, thank you for joining me. Please reach out to me if you have any questions, and I hope you start to feel a little bit more free.